Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Belle and this is the Belle Perspective, and I'm coming to you today with another book review. I just finished a book called Everybody Looking by Candice ILoh. Show you the cover. Everybody Looking. Candice is a Nigerian, first generation Nigerian American writer and dancer. She, I believe, grew up in the Midwest and Brooklyn and ended up coming to DC. She is a Howard grad. We'll talk a little bit about this book and my thoughts, but we've got some things to cover. Y'all already know we've got some housekeeping items to cover. So first things first, I am trying to grow my channel, okay? Looking for subscribers. I'm looking to get to 500. I need your help. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. If you've already subscribed, go ahead and hit the like button and get down in the comments and let me know what you think about my content. Now, you probably have not already read this book, which is fine. But if you're on a journey of trying to read more books, join my book club. It's called LITuations. We get together once a month. It's completely free and it's virtual, okay? So the only thing that you have to do is sign up on meetup.com, and I'll put that information in the description box. We are talking about the Changling, which is like a horror suspense book. The author is a Black man. We support Black authors around here. And so if you want to meet with us on next month, or actually this month, the 29th is when we get together. We're doing a donation drive for an organization called Bras. What they do is collect bras, panties, and period supplies for women and girls in crisis. And we're going to get together in person, but there will be a virtual option. And so if you want to donate and you live virtually, there's an Amazon list attached. I'll put all that information in the description box. Join my free book club if you're really trying to get into some reading and rhythm. Join us. It's LITuations. All the details are in the description box. It's free 99. So let's get into this review. So I finished reading the book again. Everybody Looking, Candice ILoh. Great book. Great book. I really like the way that it was written. It's different. And I will say it's brilliantly different. So just giving you a little bit about that, this book is very different. And let me just give you an example of what and why I say that. So the way that the book is written, it's written like poetry. So there's like stanzas here. So it doesn't read like a typical book reads. It reads, the format is in poetry. But even though the format is in poetry, it still reads very well. There's also a shifting between different time periods. So she'll pick up into college and into first grade and second grade and middle school and things like that. So she'll hop around. And so I can see people getting a little confused by that, but it helps to frame the backstory of Ada, who's also a first generation Nigerian American girl, or Nigerian American girl, who is living with her father, and her father is a zealot, a religious zealot, and he, waking up in the morning, pray, eat, pray, before you breathe, pray, before you watch TV, pray, like constant. He's a really strict religious zealot, and because of that, her relationship with her father is torn. It's not strong. Her mother, they never really point out exactly what the deal is with her mom. It sounds like there may be, initially you'll hear the conversation or you'll hear her describe her mother and you think that it may be a substance abuse issue. But then you start to hear more and you're like, maybe it is emotional or maybe potentially mental illness, lack thereof. There's something there going on. Her mother and her father ended up getting divorced when she was 1 year old. And so she's been living with her father ever since. And again, typically when divorces happen, you know, children usually end up staying with the mother. But for some reason, she's not able to be with her mother. And as you see Ada develop, you learn that it's probably in her best interest to continue to be with her father, because her father appears to be more of the stable parent. She doesn't open up with him. She doesn't talk to him. She's in the story where they talk about her being victimized by a cousin, and her father taking her to go to therapy. Now, I was surprised by seeing that piece, because the way that her father is described, he's a Nigerian man. He is not necessarily in touch with the times and things like that. So for him to take her to therapy is a shock, a little bit, somewhat, to me, because that wouldn't be, because therapy is so taboo, and you know, there's a stigma attached or associated with it. But he ends up taking her to therapy, I think in like the 2nd or 3rd grade, but there's really nothing that comes of it. I don't think Ada at the time doesn't necessarily understand what's happening, and she's not really able to talk to her father about what happened to her. Ada is a gifted dancer, and so we see her learning in, you know, seeing women at the church and seeing them dance. She is, you know, constantly drawing dancers and things like that, and drawing her strength from dance. We see when she gets to college, her HBCU that she goes to, the unnamed HBCU, but I think that this story is loosely based off of the author's life, and she meets a friend there who's also a dancer. That friend connects her to this dance troupe, and she completely falls in love with dance. Now, she originally was going to school for accounting. That's what she got her scholarship for. But she's falling off of her grades. She's not, you know, submitting the final exam. She's not attending and keeping up with her studies. She is completely in love with dance. And so we see her transition and having to make those tough calls to say, I am no longer interested in accounting. Accounting is just what got me in the door, but my love is really for dance. So we see her deal with that. We see her deal with her self-esteem and going back and forth with her sexuality and determining where she stands with that. There's really no definite or definitive answer there. We do see a little bit of innuendo where you see that she may be coming into herself on who she really truly is as a person. We see her interacting also with a guy who is on the basketball team, who she probably shouldn't be making time for, but she's making time for him, but the action is not reciprocated. And she's seeing that in real time and questioning why she's in that position. Originally, when she's discussing the relationship that she's in with this guy, he actually was taking someone else out on a date at the same time with her. You know, he is unapologetic. I'm not about you at all. You'll fit into my schedule when I want you to fit into my schedule. It's one of those kinds of things. And she's just so happy to be along for the ride because she's being chosen. I think my final hot take before I wrap this video up, I encourage you to read this book. It is really good. I like the way that it is written. I like that it's in poetry or in stanzas, because it helps to tell the story without having to over explain things. You can get straight to the point and bounce around like you need to be able to talk about why things are the way they are with Ada present day, and also from back when she was growing up in her formative years. It's helpful to see that parallel without having so many pages to get through to read it. So I think that was a brilliant approach. I will say that I think the reason why she also chose to write it in stanzas is because the way that the book reads is kind of like a journal, kind of like a diary. And you'll see Ada also writing. You'll see her writing, or she writing about, you'll see Ada talking about how she writes in her diary, in her journal, and kind of, you know, his chronicling is what I'm trying to say. Chronicling her life within her journal. And so the way that the book reads is as if you're reading a girl's journal, and the way she's growing up, and how she's learning how to express herself, and how she is becoming who she is as a person and contributing to society. So again, I think this is a great book to read. It is an easy read. It's the bark is worse than its bite. It's a thick book, but it's not that thick. You'll get through it. I literally read it in a day. And it flows very well. Flows very, very well. I feel like I was gonna say something else about a hot take, but I don't remember what that was. But definitely check out this book, and definitely join the book club, LITuations. It's virtual. Most of our events are virtual. If we are meeting in person, we'll have a virtual option. This month, we're going to get together. We're donating to Bras, the organization that donates period supplies to women in crisis. So we're collecting unused underwear, garments, and pads and tampons. There is a list that I'm going to highlight in the description box down below. It's free 99 to join. If you're trying to get your read on, join me and LITuations. All right, check out the book. I will see you guys later. Take care.